Alright, I'm back. You know who it is. The Dark Artist. I told you I might make another video back to back. And I'm here. Once again, what is this? I believe it's the 29th video. That's right, 29. But anyway, yeah. I got so much more stuff to tell. Every time I finish a video, there's always a lot more information that I did not share with y'all. So, I feel I had so much more today to give that I might as well just come back with another one. Why not? Now, check this out. About to hit y'all with something really new. I know in all my other videos, I talk about a lot of new things, but sometimes a lot of it is pretty much generally based around the same thing with dream work and, getting in touch with your inner self and all these things. And this video is also about dreams, but this is about something completely new that y'all might not be up on. I'm trying to find a way how I'm going to break this down and make it real simple. The dream work, when you go into the dream world, when you go into your out-of-body states, your trance states, there's something that could possibly help you. And this is gonna be something new, people. This is new work, new groundwork that we're going into now. A little bit more advanced, but if you're brave enough, you can try it. And it's nothing even scary, really. But I'm talking right now about the dream language. That's right. There is a language. Now, in the dreaming, what is language? First of all, let me touch on that. What is language? Every country has their own language. We have all these different, there's so many different languages. There's number, God knows how many. But what is language? And who created language? When you look at history, and I'm talking back way history, I'm talking before the so-called beginnings of times, how did language start? You got to think about this. Language must have originated from, just saying from the very basic fundamentals of language. It was probably just grunts and sounds. People would just say, just making grunts and sounds. But how did they understand what the other person was saying? There had to be some other connecting point. Because if everyone's just making grunts and sounds at each other, how would communication have been made? Now, this is assuming that we're going by the so-called prehistoric ancient man historical timeline, but there's been many timelines. I'm simply bringing up the point of how do people communicate? How did they understand what everyone else was trying to say? It's very simple. Telepathy. We all have a natural telepathy. And if anybody wants to start laughing, so, oh, here he goes, talking about telepathy. Telepathy's not real. Telepathy is very real. We let science tell us these things are not real. Insects communicate through telepathy. Now, they're going to tell you some shit about signals, and they have all these antennae and all these things. And they do have them, but bottom line, they're still using telepathy. Now, animals have telepathy. They communicate with each other. We have telepathy. We just forgot about it. But telepathy is not how you see in the movies where, X-Men and someone's like jumping, reading your mind directly what you're saying and stuff. Although that's possible on some levels, but not the way Hollywood portrays it. So, what is the dream language? The dream language is a language where, I'm trying to see how to break this down. Okay, say for example, you pick up an item, right? Language limits our perceptions and it structures our perceptions of reality. So when you pick up a rock, you look at it and you just call it a rock. You say, well, it's a rock. But you don't know what type of rock it is. You don't know what class of rock it is or why this rock is so unique. You just class it as rock. So there's nothing special about it. It's just a rock. And we tend to do this with everything: bird, rock, water, tree, plant. You see how it limits us? We don't know what species of tree. I mean, there's thousands, millions of types of species of tree. But we just call it a tree. So the dream language is, just for practice, start making up your own language or your own spontaneous words for things. Now, when you go back in history and look at things, especially from the, just say biblical or from the perspective of the church, they used to call it speaking in tongues, devil talk and stuff, or glossolalia is, I believe, the correct dictionary term, glossolalia. But yeah, glossolalia or speaking in tongues. You've probably seen it in Hollywood movies where someone's possessed by a demon. Remember what I said? There's no demons. Demons are not real. You're God. Snap out of it. Stop thinking about demons. There are no demons unless you want to create them. But anyway, you see a person possessed by a demon and they're foaming at the mouth and they're speaking. And why is it always got to be Latin? I'm saying, damn, why does every demon speak Latin all the time? It's always fucking Latin. But anyway, they're speaking either Latin or they're speaking in tongues. They call it speaking in tongues. And speaking in tongues simply meant they're speaking in an unknown language. They're speaking words that didn't fit the language that the local people could understand. So they just assumed it was nonsense. But no, they were speaking in the true language. And the true language is spontaneous sounds. Whatever comes to your mind, naturally, the first sound that comes to your mind for anything, that is the true language. So, sometimes you get mad. Just say, for example, you have a heated argument with somebody. And you get so mad, man, that your emotions cannot translate directly what you're feeling. And so you get so pissed off, you're like, that mother shit, and you're saying, you don't even know what the hell you're saying. And a person listens like, what did you just say? That mother fat shit, what the hell is that? And that's a perfect example of you getting so angry that the emotions couldn't even, in the heat of the moment, you couldn't even translate it into that punk ass, bitch ass, mother, whatever. You couldn't say it because your emotions were even higher than that phrase, that set phrase. You see what I'm saying? So you just said whatever was natural to you at that moment. Yes, you were thinking that punk ass, bitch ass, mother. You were thinking about that. You wanted to say that. But your emotions were bigger than that. So you just said what you felt. And the words that came out, even if they were not recognizable language, that was your true emotion. And that was your true emotion manifesting into verbal sound. So my point of saying this is many times, our emotions and your emotions cannot be explained through verbal sound or through, verbal definitions and dictionary words and all these type of things. They don't always translate that way. We've all had experiences, and I've talked about them in my own videos, where I would say, I crossed over and I touched the power of my soul in a few videos back, and I actually felt it, and I said, words can't describe it. There's no word to describe that. It was beyond definition. It was beyond any vocabulary word. I mean, even if I would say it was the most amazing, magnificent thing I've ever seen in my life, blah, 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 even that is not enough. So this is what you got to do. Start making up, and I know this is going to be embarrassing, so you don't have to do it in public or in front of other people. When you're alone, start making up your own spontaneous sounds or names for things. There's no way that everything should have just one name. Everything should have many names. Because, all right, you want to call something a rock, maybe I don't want to call it a rock. I want to call it something else. I have a different feeling for a word that is not rock. So any word that you feel, and it's not I'm sorry, I know I'm jumping around a bit, but I'm just getting all this information and how to break this down. But the dream language is not a normal language in terms of language as we understand it. It's based off of spontaneous sounds, and sounds that represent, it may seem that it's not ordered and it's chaos, but it's not. It's sounds that represent the equivalent to the direct feeling of the emotion that you're experiencing at that moment. See what I'm saying? Hope I didn't lose you. But when you witness something, you just speak the first feelings or sounds that come to your mind. You just speak them outwards. And this is, a lot of people say, well, this sounds like a lot of nonsense, but it's not. Think about it. You go to another country, people are speaking. You have no idea what they're talking about, but they're speaking in sound patterns. It has no connection to your home country's native language, but they're having a communication. So who's to say you can't make your own language up or make your own words or own sounds? Now, this dream language goes very deep. It's very ancient, very old, and it's a dream or trance language. And I'm not going to give any examples because I have my own style of it. But it's not really a style. They just come out naturally, however I feel. And I want you to come up with your own version of it naturally. Now, when you do speak your own dream language, yes, it might have sounds sounding like connecting to, let's say if you, just for example, let's say, like one time I went out of body and I ended up at this place and I was speaking to this girl. And this girl was speaking to me in the dream language. And the dream language she was speaking to me was combined. It was a mixture with sound like of Japanese and Spanish. Now, I can't speak Spanish at all. I do speak Japanese somewhat. And the interesting thing was, though, like I said, it was a combination of Japanese and Spanish, but she wasn't using actual, say, Spanish words or Japanese words. They were words just all combined into like a very different, unique language, but I was able to pick up certain intonations and certain sounds that I said, well, that sounds just like Japanese and that sounds like Spanish. So I was able to find the correlation between that. It was like a mixed language. And everybody will be different. So just say, for example, if your native language is Swahili and you also speak English, your dream language will probably, not saying that it has to be, but it will probably have a kind of combination of phonetic sounds similar to Swahili and English. But it could sound, excuse me, it could sound like anything though. It would just be any sound that is the natural equivalent to the emotion that's being felt at the time. So, yeah, I'm going to get more deep into this. Why is this important? Consciousness, our souls, our beings, our true selves, doesn't really deal with language, verbal language. As a matter of fact, it doesn't deal with, well, it does deal with sounds, but it really deals with flashes of images. Images is what we do. Think about your imagination, right? And I touched on the last video about imagination. I'm going to go into a little bit more. When you use your imagination to visualize things, you're not really using any language. You don't have to use a language. You're just, whatever you want to create, boom, you create it and it's there. It has nothing to do with language. So the same thing happens when you cross over into the dreaming. Things are happening. You don't need to have any language going on, but things are still going on. Things are popping up. Things are manifesting. This is the true language of your soul. It's just energy, and you manipulate and form and create things according to your will or your personal preference or what you want to happen, and you just manifest it. So this is very similar to the dream or trance language, where you just speak words that are the equivalent of the emotions that you're feeling at that time, and you just say them outwards. Now, this can be used for many reasons. You could find your own reasons on how this can be used. But let's just say if you are a person coming from a magical background, let's say if you're deep into magic and you believe in magic, and that's fine if you want to believe that. Let's say you want to cast a spell on someone, or really just cast a spell upon yourself. to help you do something. You don't need a spell book. You don't need to get some spell from somebody or get some spell from some website. And I don't know, I've been seeing a lot of nonsense, man. People be selling spells and shit, man, $50. But yo, you don't need all that. You can create your own unique spell that is originated from you. And it can sound like anything you want it to sound like. How have I been using it? Man, this dream language has really been this new it's my new thing right now that's going on in my journey because it's real powerful. I use it to cross over into the dreaming. So like when I'm on my bed, resting, getting ready to take a little break from physical reality and cross into the other realms, I speak within my mind the dream language, telling myself. So in English, I would be saying, I'm going to cross over and I want to go to this place or that place. But I'm not saying it in English. I'm saying it in the trance, in the dream language, which is a spontaneous sound. It's always different. It doesn't have to be the same set phrase all the time, the same sounds all the time. And it doesn't have, and just say, for example, if you said one set phrase, you can say the exact same set, but not, I don't want to get confused, not phrases, it's not like a language, but just say if you said the same set pattern of sounds, even if you said the exact same pattern of sounds, just say it had like 5 syllables or whatever, that doesn't mean that it has to stay the same all the time. That pattern that you said just now, you could say the same pattern again, and it could have a completely different meaning. You see what I'm saying? It's all about the intent that you're trying to put out there to the universe. And how this works on us, as far as being so-called human with the conscious mind and all this nonsense, is since we kind of been brainwashed into using words, this sort of bypasses the psychic censor. So when you speak this dream language, this ancient language, your mind, conscious mind that's still focused on physical reality, thinking about language, will say, wait a minute, whoa, what the hell is this? What's going on here? That doesn't register. I don't know what this language is. And that confuses it. And then it gets curious and says, well, what was that? What's going on? What was that strange language? And as you go to bed, your mind starts working on it and say, well, what was that? What did that mean? What was that command that he gave me? I understood the intent of the command. The command was, I'm going into the dreaming consciously, but it wasn't English and there wasn't no language that I could possibly understand. So what was it? And as you try to figure that out, it crosses you over consciously into the dreaming. See what I'm saying? So that's one way you could use it. Another way you could use it is, I had this experience, man. I crossed over into this realm, and these beings, I don't know what happened, but it was a whole story playing out, and it was at a swimming pool, and they had me frozen. Like, they had me in some type of paralysis, and I couldn't move, and they were laughing. It was a lot of them, and they were coming towards me, and they didn't look too friendly. And what I did was, suddenly, I started chanting this dream language off, and I was spitting it out. Boom! I was speaking these words, and as I was speaking, it's not just speaking words randomly. You got to really focus your power. So I was speaking these words out, speaking the dream language. At the same time, I was speaking them and channeling my energy. And yo, man, this was amazing. Things started vibrating. The whole place started to shake. There was electricity coming up out the water, coming down from, the air and all around. And these entities, whatever they were blown away. They were shocked. They all looked at each other. They were like, how does he know this? The reaction was, how was it possible that I was able to use this ability and this dream language to channel my energy in this way? So I was speaking it, and next thing you know, this paralysis they had me in just completely broke. It broke free. And from there, I was able to, you know how I get down. I took care of them as I saw fit. Won't go into details. But now, this is not far. People say, well, this is kind of a stretch, but it's not. Because someone told me recently, and this is over here in Japan, they said that they have something in Japan called kanashibari. Kanashibari is simply sleep paralysis. And this person told me directly, and this is a very, how you would say, intellectual minded person, very straight, not into any of this stuff. But they told me on a side tip that when this person goes to sleep at night, sometimes he gets the sleep paralysis and there's some type of demon on the side of his bed. I think he said all in black. There you go, shadow entities. But he said it's a demon or a ghost or something like that. And it looks really frightening. And I said, well, what do you do? And he said, I just start chanting in my mind as it's getting closer. And over here in Japan, there's some Buddhist chants, Namyo, Dengekyo, and all this stuff that connects to these other religions. But he said he starts speaking this chant similar to that and starts spitting it out. And he says it breaks. It breaks the sleep paralysis. And this entity disappears and goes away. Now, I've also heard many stories. I heard one story from Korea, and I've heard this from other people as well, where as they're laying on the bed, they get the sleep paralysis, and there's an entity on the side of them, could be a shadow person or whatever you want to call it, speaking to them in this strange language. And it's like a chant, and it's a language not known. They never heard the language before, but it's clearly some type of language, and it's speaking to them, and it seems to be doing something to them. It's on one level, it's keeping them frozen in the sleep paralysis, and they can't really break it. And it's also doing other things to them. But once this language stops, it seems that all these people report that the paralysis breaks and they're no longer held by it. One of my close friends over here, he made a video himself, and his experience was when he was younger, he used to see a hooded shadow entity in his room, and it would speak to him, but it was no known language. It was some kind of very strange language that was clearly some type of language, but it wasn't made up of any known language to him, or that would seem recognizable to us on this side of reality. So this is a new power, people, that I'm passing to y'all. I hit you off with good stuff. This is something to experiment with, something new for you to, I don't want to say play around with because it's not a toy, but play and have fun and see what you could come up with. But come up with your own original. And the reason I'm not giving any examples of how I get down with it is because I don't want to give any type of, what's the word I'm looking for? Excuse me, my throat's crazy today. Preconceived ideas. I don't want people trying to copy me or trying to do it similar. Everyone's unique. All you need to remember is the basics of what I said. You will speak this language. It will be a language that the sounds have emotions and feelings in them. And the sounds that you speak from your mouth will be the exact equivalent of the emotion that you're experiencing or the energy that you're picking up from something. So if you pick up an apple, we all know it's called an apple in this reality. But if you pick up an apple, sorry, what is this called? And you pick it up and you have a completely different feeling of a word, the energies translate coming into you and you feel this apple is called something else, then that's what it is. Your definition is better than anybody else. Who says this has to be called an apple? Who decided that? Who decided all vocabulary and words? It was all based off of someone else's opinion of what they thought it was. So this is why I don't really get into, a lot of people, I'm not knocking people, but a lot of people be on their videos, they be saying, you got to go into the etymology of words, you got to know etymology, you got to know what this word means, what that word means. Words are just words. A word can mean anything. A word can mean anything. You could say this word means that, and it can mean something completely different to another person. So etymology, I don't really get into etymology because words can change, and they do change. Perfect example, the word gay. If you listen to any Christmas song, old Christmas song, just say, I don't know, don't get me wrong, just say from the 50s, 60s, whatever, the word gay used to mean happy. Gay means happy. You would hear them say, oh, everyone was so gay, la 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 la, and all this stuff. Gay meant happy. At some point, gay changed into meaning a person who's considered a homosexual or whatever terms silly terms they want to call each other. Because I don't believe in that stuff. We all are what we are, what we choose to be. But anyway, that's just one example. Gay meant happy, and now if you said someone, oh, he looks so gay today, people say, oh, well, what do you mean gay? I ain't no homosexual. I like women. See what I mean? So that's just an example of what happens. Gay went from happy to being, homosexual. So this is crazy, man. So yeah, just remember the basics. Use your power. You have a lot of abilities, man. You all do. You have all these other abilities, and no one's going to bring them to you and tell you about them because they want you to stay weak and be afraid. But you know me, the dark artist, is going to bring it to you and let you know what's up. So start when you hear this video. When this video's finished, and if you're alone, try it out. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Don't be embarrassed. Like I said, you don't have to do it in front of other people. Do it by yourself. If you feel even embarrassed doing it out loud by yourself, do it in your mind. Pick up something. Anything in your house. Pick it up. Look at it. First word that pops in your head, what feeling do you get? If you're getting the feeling of some word and it pops in your head and it's not the word for that, then that's what it is. And it doesn't have to be a word that's common in any language or vocabulary. It could be an original word sound that you've just manifested yourself. And you take it from there. Baby steps, baby steps. And as you get more confident, you will start speaking this language, this dream language, this trance language. You'll start speaking it in your daily life. I mean, there's so many implications here. I'll give you another example. I went to the park one day, and there were some birds, some pigeons out. And I really don't feed pigeons. Not that I don't like pigeons. I just, I don't really feed them and stuff. But I was in the park, and I was in a good mood. I was eating some bread. And the pigeons were just ignoring me. So they came close, and they were just doing their own thing. So I said, let me try this out. So I started speaking the dream language to them. And, the emotions that I was getting from them coming, I just started speaking this language. And, man, they all were like, whew, their heads stopped. They were watching me. And it was as if I really felt that I had tapped into some level of energy that they haven't been, they knew about it, but they haven't heard it or maybe haven't felt it in a long time, centuries or maybe, who knows. But they all froze and they were looking at me like, whoa, what's going on with this guy? This guy's crazy. But then they started coming to me. I know a lot of people say, all right, well, so what, they're pigeons. You could feed pigeons. Anybody could feed. But it's not the point, man. The point I'm trying to make is this language, it seems to connect with them on a deeper level. And another level you can use this on is connecting with the true selves of people. If you have a person that is, sometimes you want to connect with people, man, and certain words just don't, they're not equivalent to what you feel and your emotions. Sometimes I love you is not enough. Maybe you really love somebody. I mean, your feelings run deeper than love, and the word I love you doesn't do it justice. Maybe you want to say something else, a different kind of sound that has the same meaning as I love you, but it's something that is original, an original sound that means the same thing as I love you, but you want to say it this way. Create your own way. Don't follow other people. Do what's good for you. So I think I gave enough of the base. I hope I'm not on a rant here. And I hope I didn't confuse people. I apologize if I jumped around a bit, but I think I probably got the gist of it out of what I was trying to get down with this dream language. But yeah, dream language, trance language, glossolalia, speaking in tongues. This is all the same thing. Final point I'll just give you real quick before I get out of here. Think about babies, right? When a baby starts to speak, they're not speaking in any known language to us. You get a baby come out, the baby's like, and you're like, oh, the baby's so cute. The baby's speaking to you. The baby is talking. The baby is communicating with you with the emotions and the first thoughts and sounds and things that come to its mind. It's actually communicating with you. We just don't pick up on it. Why? Because people have been brainwashed. Well, that's not a known language. That's just baby talk, and goo goo gaga is nothing special. No, the baby is using the dream trance language. He's speaking the true native language. Whatever thoughts are coming to his or her mind, that is what he feels or what she feels, and she's telling you. Goo goo gaga gee ga means I'm hungry, damn it. But you know what I'm trying to say. And as the baby gets older, it starts picking up on all vibration, and then it loses that original language, and it learns so-called, English or whatever country you're in, whatever your language is. But that's just one example I could give you. At least one connected to physical reality, which is the closest example of the dream trance language being used in its natural state in physical reality. So it's a short video. It's going to give you that. Man, I don't want to end the video, though. I got so much high energy going right now. Let me see. Maybe I could throw something else in here real quick. Yeah, self-power. Listen, I told y'all many times, there are no demons. There's no demons. There's no evil spirits. No one's coming to get you. There's no Illuminati. Stop thinking about all this stuff, man. And even if there were demons, okay, let's say, all right, you want to believe, all right, demons. Oh, there's a demon, there's demon. All right, there's demons. Now what? What are you going to do? All right, you got a demon. There's a demon around your house. There's a demon in your house. The demon wants to possess you. Now what are you going to do? What's the next step? You have to start believing in your power, man. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. You are an unstoppable force. I said it in my last video. Let me get into this again. When I said that we were nameless, and I know a lot of people, I don't know, they probably would think, oh man, this guy's a little crazy, man, talking about we nameless. I got a name, I'm Julio Sanchez the Fifth. Whatever it is, man. Bob Wall, whoever, man. Look, this is a little trick I'm going to do to remind you, immortal beings, you gods out there, help you reawaken. When you're nameless, nothing can touch you. Think about it. Let's think about this from the perspective of magic, right? Let's say someone tried to work some hoodoo on you, right? So they're coming out, and you get this person mad, get into altercation, and I'm going to put a spell on this guy. I'm going to put a spell on you. I don't like you. And they start working out some hoodoo language stuff, putting it on you. Don't get scared. Don't get scared. Someone's casting a spell on you. You know what you do? You start spitting your dream language at them. All right, fine. You want to play? Boom. Start hitting them back. I guarantee you, they'll be looking at you like, whoa, the hell is that? I never heard that. And they'll try to find out what it was. They might try to research it, but you know what? They're never going to find out what it is because it comes from self. It's coming from within, and it's coming from your inner reality. It's your dream language, your trance language, and they're never going to find its originating point. So they're going to be out here searching, looking for, let's just say if you said some type of sounds and they remembered the sound, they're going to be on the internet. Yeah, what that sound mean? What did it mean? They're going to be checking all this stuff, trying to find out what it is. But they're never going to come up with nothing, man. Why? Because what you hit them back with was pure creativity, original creativity, which is the source of everything, a connection to all that is. And all that is everything. So they're not going to be able to come at you with nothing, man. If you feel that someone has worked something against you, worked some roots on you, or did something to you, if you find something in your house, if someone put some roots in your house and they found something, if you found something, anything related to that kind of stuff, some voodoo stuff or some Santeria stuff or whatever, don't panic. When you panic, you open up that door in your mind, in your consciousness, and that's how you let these energies in. These people work these energies, they send them at you, and they want you to be afraid, see, because when you get afraid, when you get fear into you, that opens up those doors in the mind, and then that energy just comes on in, because you just let it in through your fear. What you got to do is, if you found something in your house, let's say you pull back your couch and you find some, a hex bag or, anything strange like that, chicken foot or whatever, don't panic. You pick it up, toss it out. Don't worry about it. But if you do feel you need that little extra boost of protection, you pick it up, look at it, say, all right, you want to play? Channel your energies and speak your dream language into it. Look at that item, and whatever feelings you feel that you feel are gonna counter that effect or whatever this thing is, this spell or this magic, you speak it. And you have to believe deep down inside that this is powerful and that it's gonna work. You have to believe it's gonna work. If you think, well, I'm gonna do this, but I don't know if it's gonna work or not, it's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work for you. So you gotta believe it. But yeah, you're a powerful force. Back to what I was saying about being nameless. It all connects. Nothing can stop you. The moment you start labeling yourself is when you set up your limitations. I was checking out something on the internet. A form of voodoo, but not really. It's called Obeah. Now, Obeah is supposed to be the most powerful, most dangerous, lethal, potent form of voodoo anywhere. In Africa and all these places. It's called Obeah, Obeah. But when you look at Obeah, I was doing some research on it. And, one person, just like they were saying that Obeah is the original chaos magic. And if you don't know what chaos magic is basically a form of magic that started off in the 80s with, I'm sorry, I forgot the guy who created it, but you could look it up, chaos magic. And basically, they were coming out of the school you had all these people like Aleister Crowley and all these other magicians still doing ceremonial magic. And this one cat, these cats came together and said, you know what, fuck that, we're doing it this way. And basically, they just did whatever they wanted to do. And they got the same results. See what I'm saying? It's all about belief, man. It's all about belief. These other cats were doing ceremonial magic with daggers and wands and chalices and robes and all this nonsense. These cats said, yo, we don't need any of that. I'm summoning, they were doing some wild stuff, man, just calling down whoever they wanted to and doing the most ridiculous rituals, but they believed in their power, and it was working. And it really put a dent in the so-called, this magical community, because a lot of people, even today, they don't like this chaos magic stuff. A lot of people feel they still need to have, the whole ritual trappings, but, when I was into magic a while back, when I started out, even in the beginning, I used to say, I picked up on it real quick. I was able to see through all the nonsense. And I was like, well, I was never into the ceremonial magic, and I'm not trying to knock anybody, but it just wasn't for me, because my train of thought was like, well, if these people need all these chalices and woods, and you got a dagger and all this shit, well, what if I don't have any of that? What if I'm in the middle in another place and I need to work off some magic real quick and I don't have that? So my train of thought was, even very early on, was that the goal of the magician should be, the magician, the sorcerer, the conjurer, should always be to, as soon as possible, be able to learn how to work his magic so that he doesn't need any of those ritual trappings. His mental magic, so that he can use his magic on the go anytime he wants. You don't need any paraphernalia to work your magic. The magic is you. That's what I said before in that last video about imagination. You are your imagination. Your natural state is your imagination, your mental state. Everything is manifested outside of us. So we live in the inner reality, and that inner reality simply gets translated and manifested into physical form. That's why we have all these things here. Everything we see with our physical eyes was manifested coming from an inner reality from another source. So, yeah. Back to Obeah, they were saying that Obeah was this original chaos magic. But when I did more research, basically the reason Obeah was so powerful is because Obeah could work with any gods in voodoo or any religion. They could work with any gods, any religion. They could do, basically, long story short, Obeah could basically have like no rules. You can do almost anything, probably anything, whatever you want to do. And that's why it was so dangerous. So you had all these other groups, traditional voodoo groups and all these other groups, with rituals, and you got to do this, and you got to pray to this god, and you have to make this offering. And they had their own kind of set, pantheons of deities and gods that they worshiped. But Obeah was kind of like, yeah, well, we can just work with anybody we want, and we still get respect, and we still respect whoever we're working with. So that's why they were so powerful. Now, let's take that to the next level of where I'm coming from, with your own self-power, and the power of your own individual soul, your entity, your inner self. Once you make contact with your inner self, which is you, the inner self acts as an intermediary between you and your soul. And the soul is connected to all that is, so-called God, but I'm going to call it all that is. When you're working with the source of everything, who can stop you? And this is true. You are connected to the source of everything. So if you say to yourself, this goes deep. This goes deeper than, I always say that we're gods, you're a god in train. I say all these things, but it goes much deeper on another level. If you really truly believe that you are an ancient, immortal, multidimensional being, and you're connected with the source of everything, that means nothing can touch you. Entities, shadow people, gray aliens, reptilians, Arcturians, fly people, I don't stop. Bro, any of these crazy titles, man, people be using and shit, talking about they're afraid and this thing's trying to get them. If you knew your power, none of those things could touch you. That's why, man, let me give you a funny story. I'm in the bathroom the other day. I'm in the bathtub, doing a bathroom meditation. And I was focusing on, I'd be hooking up my astral realm and creating this other reality that I do on the side. And I created this reality, and I'm in the bathtub, right? So I have the lights on. I got all the lights out. It's pitch black darkness. So I said, all right, let me make a move. So what I was basically doing was making myself known to whatever entities were in my surrounding area at the time. Now, you got to think of it like this. This is how I see it anyway, for me. Everyone's different. If I am, just say I'm in this neighborhood in Japan, I live here. Now, I'm not going to say no one, but I think pretty much, mostly, I'm probably the only person at that time anyway, working on this type of stuff that I'm into. Going into the other realms and doing this stuff at this much focus and intensity. So, if I shoot out an open message, it's like similar to being, this is not how it is, but just say if you have complete darkness and there's all these things around and suddenly one light turns on, everyone's like, shoo, and they all want to know, wow, what's that light? And they start coming in. So I shot open an open message, and I basically was like, look, this is one of my realities that I've created. It's an open reality for anyone to come in, any entity, if they want to communicate or just learn about other realities. But I'm here, and this is a place that you can come to. Whether if you're lost, if you can't find your way to wherever you're trying to get, or you just want to learn other things. And I also said that don't, if you want to come here, it's fine. But don't try to, I basically said it in so many words, like, don't come in with that scary shit trying to scare somebody, because it's not going to work on me. I'm here just as a messenger and, trying to connect worlds and stuff, The moment I shot that message out and said it, it was like instantaneously, boom. My bathroom door, it closes, right? It's kind of like two doors connecting. You got to push it and it closes. And a lock comes down. Yo, man, this is why you got to be strong and not weak. You got to push yourself. The moment I sent that message out, it was like within a few seconds. Boom. The lock opened. I heard the latch go, and the latch goes up. The latch went up, and the bathroom door opened inwards. Boom. It didn't open all the way, but it opened enough, which never happens ever. And there's no way that would have happened. I mean, the latch actually went up. I heard it go up. It was like, went up. The doors opened inwards. And the whole mood of the bathroom changed. I didn't panic. I kept my eyes closed. And I started speaking more. And this is all mentally. In my head, I'm speaking, my dream language, kicking it out. And what happened was, I felt something was there, but it was kind of shy. It wanted to communicate, but it was kind of cautious of me too. And I can understand. I mean, because I'm the place that I'm coming from. It's like, yo, I am the most powerful being, at least in my universe. I don't worry about other universe. I'm the most powerful being in my universe. And the reason I say I'm the most powerful being in my universe is because no matter where I go, or no matter where you go, you're always going to be still in your universe. So nothing can touch you. See what I'm saying? So I guess it was cautious of me, and I'm just like shooting out all this energy, like, yo, you can't fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? So next thing you know, I felt something in the water with me. And I said, interesting. What's this? And I saw a kind of shadow image with my eyes closed, kind of like standing in the water or above the water. And when I opened my eyes, the shadow image was there in front of me. For a few seconds, I saw it, and then it vanished. And then it started to speak. Started getting this sound in my head, like a voice, which is very disconnected from my usual thoughts. And it was giving me a name, and it spoke a name to me. And I said, all right, it's trying to make contact. So, yeah, that's just an example of what, different things. What was I talking about? I lost my thought. You know, we go on these damn rants. But anyway, yeah, your power. You got to know your power. And you have to just be strong. Nothing can touch you. Oh, yeah, that's what. I got lost for a minute. Yeah, so when I was talking about the Obeya, all connecting back, when you believe that you're the source of power, nothing can really touch you, man. There's nothing in the world. Don't be scared of shit, man. Don't be worried about nothing. I know y'all be thinking I be over-exaggerating and stuff, but yo, I don't worry about nothing, man. Nothing scares me. And if you get into this kind of stuff, you got to change your thinking of, I don't want to be scared. This is what you want, isn't it? I mean, don't you want to see a shadow entity? You want to see a ghost? You want to, whatever these names you want to call these things, it's all just energy, but this is what you want. So don't be scared. Actually, be disappointed if nothing happens. I get really disappointed if I kick off a ritual, or I'm trying to communicate with something and nothing happens. I get really disappointed because I'm like, damn, man, But I don't get too upset. I just say, all right, I gotta push more energy next time, And I jump right back in at that moment. So, all right, I'm gonna push a little bit more energy out, and I keep amplifying the energy up until I get my results and get what I want. So, yeah, whatever somebody's working with, whatever these names they got out here, voodoo, hoodoo, santeria, I'm not knocking anybody who's into that. I'm simply saying that even if you're into that, let me switch it up a bit. Even if you are into voodoo, hoodoo, santeria, working with the orishas, working with Papa Legbo, working with demons and the 72 demons of Solomon and all this stuff, if you want to work with it, that's cool. Just remember that they don't have no power over you. They can't hurt you. It's all your power. It's all your power. So if you want to work with these things, do it. But don't ever fear that, I did something wrong and they're going to come and get me now and drag me off to hell and that they got to get payback and karma and all this. So no, you don't worry about none of that. You are a multidimensional being. You're a god. You are immortal. You're ancient. You work with these other energies because you choose to work with them. That's it. If you don't want to deal with them, you just don't deal with them. But they can't touch you. They can't come at you. So that's my video on that. I know I touched on a lot. The dream language, do your work. The dream language, the trance language, use it to your abilities. Get powered up. Take your shit to the next level. Stop listening to these haters out here that's going to tell you this is all nonsense. They're not in our world. They don't know nothing, man. And yeah, you are powerful. No one can stop you. Because I know no one can stop me, so hey. All right, that's it for now. Peace, love, and harmony as always. Take care. I'm out.